Hi, and welcome to episode 1 of the Life in General podcast. Today, I will be exploring the idea that we are all cogs in a machine. So, so what does it mean to us in our everyday lives? Well, let's be clear on this. Me expressing my ideas are based off my experiences and understandings of the matter. Therefore, if you're listening to this, please feel free to comment in the comment box below, and we'll continue this discussion a little bit more in the comment box. So this idea came to me after I felt extreme unease on just a random day. I mean, I remember it like it was yesterday. It was just a clear day, and I'm just getting up, getting ready to go to work, and of course, before you go to work, you gotta get ready. And so the way how I get ready, so the way how I get ready is basically I turn on the computer and I start just do what I have to do. No, I don't watch porn. It's unproductive. So what I do is I read articles, and this article popped up, and I'll get into that article later. But so let's just continue on. So basically, I woke up one day and I felt a random unease, and I was reading this article, and so when I finished reading this article, it got me thinking and questioning the fact that holy fuck, this is me. So I dug deeper to see how far this rabbit hole goes, and I felt as if I was only scratching the surface. I mean, if if I'm if you read something like this and you digest it, you tend to read a lot more of it. So you tend to chase um, just similar subjects to the original subject that you were reading about. So I decided to dig a lot deeper, and so pretty much I've only just scratched the surface. So maybe in the future we'll discuss more subjects like this. But for now, let's just dive into the idea that well, we are all cogs in a machine. So let's begin. So let's just start by saying that um, we need some context. So there's when you say cogs in a machine, it could be for many contexts. So it could be you we are a part of a machine, like a bigger machine. So we could be a part of the bigger world. Basically, we live on a planet that is just revolving around a sun. So in a way, we are a part of a system, right? We are parts of a bigger and wider consciousness, if that makes sense. So a much easier example is basically the planet. The planet is circle. There's rivers, there's mountaintops, there's people, there's creatures, and we are all basically a part of a system. We cannot live without each other. We can't survive without one part of a system. We can't survive outside of the system that we are in. So basically, if you're inside the system, you're a part of a bigger system. I mean, if you're talking about like mechanical wise, we are gears inside of another system. So basically, if you're a car, I could be the engine, you could be the tires, another part, let's say another person is the steering wheel. So basically, all of these parts together makes the car work. Without the steering wheel, you can't steer. Without the wheels, you ain't going nowhere. Without the engine, there's no movement. The car is not gonna move, right? So in a way, we are all cogs in a machine somehow. But just to make it simple, I'm gonna talk about how we are all cogs in the workplace. So basically, where you work is a system. You know, it doesn't matter if the system has one person, two people, two persons, three persons, 100 people. All of us are part of a system in some way. So I mean, let's just dive into it. Um, let's just see where this thing leads, man. This is the first podcast I've ever done. So if it seems as if I'm rambling on a bit, yes, I am. This is my first podcast, man. You guys gotta give me some leeway here. So basically, what I'm planning to do right now is I'm gonna run through a scenario that is very general. I made it as general as I could to encompass what everybody is going through, and not just a specific group of people. So, what I am about to say is it's very generalized, and so that a lot of us can relate to this. I'm pretty sure a lot of us can relate to this. So, I mean, let me run through the list. So, let's do it. So we think that we're in control of our lives, but I think we are not. In a way, we are not in control of our lives is because, well, I'm gonna list reasons right now. So our lives are being governed in subtle ways, under our own noses without us knowing. Our employers are controlling us more than we think. Our daily routines are dictated by our commitments to our workplaces, which in a way is kind of true. So I'm gonna run through a list, and you tell me if this is true or false. Okay? Okay. We get up at a certain time to get ready for work. We brush our teeth, possibly take a shower if we have time. Some of us have breakfast, some of us don't. I mean, we just walk straight out the door, like without breakfast, because we're probably going to be late for work. We use transport, so we use transportation to get to work, but along the way, we experience traffic delays, railway maintenance delays, bus delays, and if you're unlucky, you might encounter some road rage. and you sit next to a guy in a bus, and he's farting and he stinks, and yeah, it's absolutely terrible. Yeah, so you get out of your transportation, you go to work, you make it to work, and now you got to clock in. You work for a certain amount of time, and then it's time for tea time, usually for 10 minutes, 15 minutes if your workplace is generous. Right, so after your 10-minute break, 15-minute break, whatever, how long it is, management comes in and tells you all to go get back to work. So pretty much the manager is telling you, get the fuck back to work. All right, your break is over. All right, we grind for like a few hours or so, and then it's time for lunch break. During the 30-minute lunch break, you're eating, you're warming up your food, right? You waste 5 minutes, 6 minutes, fighting for, like the microwave, or you're fighting for the line, in the cafeteria. If you have a cafeteria, you run to McDonald's, you buy your fast food, right? And if you're lucky, you might even get 40 minutes if your workplace is extremely generous. And most workplaces are not that generous. So if you get a 40-minute break, mate, good on you. Right. So now your lunch is up. Mind you, you gotta waffle your food. I mean, you don't have time for this. You don't have time for anything else but to eat your food and maybe talk a little bit of shit to your workmates, but most of the time it is mostly shit. Okay, so your time is up, and again, management comes roaring in, telling you to go get back to work, but basically in their mind, probably telling you but basically in their mind, they're probably thinking, get the fuck back to work, man. I've got quotas to meet, So you guys see a pattern here right now? I've ran through probably 8 points. So you tell me, do you feel as if your life is like you are in control of your own life? Does it feel as if that you are just a big cog in a machine, and you feel as if you are replaceable at any time? And I don't care who you are. If you are an employee, you're just so let's say you are at the lowest position possible in your workplace, right? Now as a cog, you're still important, because without you, most likely work would not get done, right? You're just a smaller cog in a bigger machine, and don't you and you team leaders don't think that you can get away from this. You're a cog as well. You're probably your cog is much bigger than your worker's cog, if you know what I mean. I mean, you're a bigger cog in the freaking machine, right? Freaking the upper echelons in your workplace, they need managers like you to run the place. Right? They need you to control the other cogs to make sure that they are doing what they are paid for. Right? They're there to get the job done, and so it's your responsibility to make sure that crap gets done. Right? So you're a cog too, and upper management, they are cogs. They might think that just because you work in the office doesn't mean that you're not a cog. Bullshit. You are cogs too. You are cogs as well. It just so happens that you're in the head office, and your cogs are very shiny and shit. But you you think you're top shit. No. You are just a shiny cog in a machine, right? The upper management, the upper echelons, the C-suite probably just oiled you a bit, give you good pay packets. But man, you're a cog as well, and this goes all the way up, all the way to the to C-suites. So if you're a financials like a financials officer, CFO, CEO, motherfuckers, you are cogs. You everybody in your organization are cogs. Okay, I will. You know what? I'm running. I'm actually going on a tangent. So you know what? I will get back to that. So let's continue. Okay. Okay, here we go. So we work through until the last break. By that time, you are exhausted, right? You are tired as hell, and the break duration is usually 10 minutes, 15 minutes if you're lucky. Here we go again. Management is back. Freaking management, they walk straight in, telling you get the fuck back to work, right? Go back to work, and so you grind. You grind for 1.5 hours, 2 hours, and now work is over. Yay! Freaking. It's like you've done your shift. Your shift is over. You clock out, and then you think to yourself, freedom. We can go home now. Oh, so you think? Actually, you can go home, but freedom. I don't know about that, man. I don't know about that. So let's move on. All right. So now you clock out. And you get back into your transportation, and it takes you home. You get back into your goddamn box on wheels, and it takes you home. Now real freedom begins, because now you open your front door. You're ruffling around with your freaking 1,000 keys, and then you find the one key that opens the door to your house, or to your apartment, or whatever the accommodation that you have. All right, and you think to yourself, you know what? I'm gonna have a bit of a rest. Well, you know what? You fucking deserve that rest. You deserve many rests. And so some of us will take a shower straight after work. Some of us will don't. Some of us will actually go to the gym after. Good on them, man. Good on them. After freaking 8 hours of hard work, and now you go to the gym, and now you're doing something productive. Now it's something productive. Freaking, at least when you go to the gym, you're working on your body and stuff, and you're healthy. Freaking, you're at work. You're all. Most of you are probably not miserable, but most of us, let's just say 50-50. Okay, half of you actually love doing what you do. The other half probably not. But I feel sorry for the other half, who actually hate what they're doing. So, alright, let's proceed. So now that you've taken a shower, you take a bit of a rest, and now you proceed to preparing for dinner. Yes, after a freaking hard-ass day, now you gotta make dinner. I mean, if you have a partner, good on you. If your partner can cook for you, great. I mean, that's great news. Kudos to you, man. Lucky you found a keeper. Whether it's a guy or girl, it does not matter. If that person stays at home and cooks for you, keep them. Keep them. They're very valuable. Very valuable when you guys are older. If you're single, fucking, it's hard, dude. Then after dinner, we prepare lunch for the next day. Yes. All right. In the society that we're living in right now, it is cumbersome to actually make lunch. It's if you think about it, it's very convenient. It's very easy for us just to buy fast food. But the problem with fast food and junk food and cafeteria food is, in the long term, is not good for you. It's really bad for you, and it's not cost effective. It actually costs a lot of money. I mean, think about it. You buy a pie, or you buy a sausage roll, you buy Macca's. That's around, like, let's say the pie is $4. $4 per day. It's not really that good for you. It makes you lethargic. You wait. You finish eating it, and then you go to work, and you're tired. You're not getting any work done, and you get screamed at, and it just snowballs. And if you're eating fast food every day, let's say like McDonald's, that's $8 per day. You're not just gonna buy a burger. You're gonna buy the whole meal. What's the point of buying the burger? You want the chips too, and the drink. And most likely you won't even drink water. You're gonna have the Coke, right? So yeah, making lunch for the next day, man, that's the hard part. You're already tired, man. But you have to do it. You got bills to pay. You gotta save money, man. So after we finish doing all of this, now we have some time for ourselves. It's like, yep, we finally have time for ourselves. We have done everything. I've done everything, and now I'm ready to like relax. And then you realize, oh shit, I gotta sleep in 2 hours. It's like, oh fuck, oh screw it. I'm just gonna try and enjoy myself. Well, that's the thing. A lot of people actually sleep early, right? For no other reason than to wake up early for the next day, because they have to get ready for work. Now I know some people who, um, that's not how they roll. Once they get home and they've done everything that they have to do, they will stay up for as long as they can because they think because they're thinking to themselves, man, I've already spent 8 hours at work. I've done all. I've made dinner. I've ate the dinner, and I prepped my lunch, and I only got 2 hours left to enjoy myself. Fuck that. I'm just gonna stay up for as long as I can. So they stay up super late, and the next day they're waking up like, oh man, they can't even get up. But you understand where they're coming from though, because they have no time for themselves. So they make up that time by sleeping a lot later. You know, they try to make up for that, and it's understandable. Freaking, if you do this day in day out, it gets to you. You want some time for yourself, right? All right, last point, and then we wake up the next day and we do this crap all over again. Wow, what a life! What a life, you know. And this list is a general idea of what everybody else is going through. I mean, it's not as if it's a what's that word? It's not as if it's a isolated incident, like isolated idea. I mean, freaking, this is general. This is everyone is going through this. Whether you're a laborer, a doctor, a lawyer. Actually, it's worse for lawyers. You know, it's worse for high-paying jobs. It's worse for them because they probably freaking do this, do these points that I was saying to the max. They probably ramp up to, instead of ramping up to 10, they ramp up to 11. You know, so maybe it's worse for them. Yeah, you know, freaking, and I also feel sorry for the people who are young and they think that this is normal. Yes, it is normal in a sense because we have accepted it. But do you really see yourself doing this every single day, week in, week out, 365 days per year, 52 weeks per year? Like, honestly? And man, it is a life of absolute melancholy. And I should know this because I did this. Everything I've listed, I've done this. You know, it's not freaking, this is life experience, man. Freaking, I've done all this shit. You know, I've done all this shit, and I've only just realized it. That's why I wrote it all down. So the crux of the question is, how are we cogs? How are we cogs in a machine? Well, it's simple. You are a cog in a machine. Is because you are not in control of any of this. You think that you're in control of the time that you wake up, or the time that you brush your teeth, or the fact that you got to get into your car and drive somewhere, or you got to clock in and clock out, and you have some schmuck who thinks that, you know, he or she is God of the universe, you know, telling you, all right, brakes up, get out, right, and then get out, and we can. Yeah, I mean, you are not in control. And here's why. Here is why you are not in control. Now, if you had your way to live your life in any other way, right? What time would you wake up? Just ask yourself that question. Right? What time would you want to wake up? All right. Now, ask yourself, if I was to wake up at that time, right, and rock up to work an hour later, what will happen to you right now at your job? Exactly. Most likely, you're gonna get fired. You're either gonna get fired, or your boss will start ringing you more than your ex, asking you to come back. You know, he or she will probably bomb your phone, asking, "Where the hell are you?" Right? Does that seem like in control to you? You know, it doesn't matter how high you go. Even if you're a low worker, like a low status worker, all the way to the very top, you can't just rock up anytime that you want. There is a set time that you have to rock up. So that's one strike against you. So you think that you're in control? Well, you're off to a very bad start. right there. You're not even in control of when you rock up to work. Actually, you're not even in control of the time that you wake up. Because if you wake up, let's say for example, you got to wake up um, at 6 so that you can get to work at 7, or you got to wake up at 8 and you got to get to work by 9, right? You have to be there by 9. So basically, you have to wake up early to prepare yourself to go to work at 9. You can't leave at 9, right? And don't give me the crap about my workplace is flexible. They let me go. No, fuck that. It's fuck that. Fuck that. Right? It is for a certain amount of time, but not always. You are the exception, not the rule. All right. Some workplaces will let you work from home, but it's very rare. It is very rare. The reason why they're letting you work from home is because you have skills. You have skills that are valuable enough where they're letting it happen. Right? But in general, it does not happen very often. If it happens very often, and if that's the case, then you will not see traffic in the morning. You will not see traffic jams. You will not see road rage because everybody will be at home. But it's not the case. You have to go to work in the facility that's paying you. It's general. That's the general idea. So for the people who say that, oh, I work from home, I can come in wherever I want. I'm coming like whenever I want, and basically, I'm not a slave to the fact that I have to come in. Well, good on you. You probably have valuable skills, that the workplace needs. That's why they're letting it happen. But for a majority of the people, that's not the case. That is not the case. All right, let's move on. All right, and now so when you wake up in the morning, now you gotta brush your teeth, take a shower, and have breakfast, and then we're out the door. Honestly, I like to wake up anytime that I want. I'll be honest. I want to brush my teeth anytime that I want. I want to take a shower anytime I want. But because I have to go to work, I have to do all these things in almost one go, and sometimes it's almost impossible. And I just brush my teeth, take a shower, and I'm out the door. I don't even have breakfast, right? So now transportation. Now let's face it, transportation. Man, do you really want to take the bus? Do you really want to take the bus or the train? Or even drive to work? Honestly, I don't really like driving to work, and I definitely don't like taking public transport, right? I don't like the idea of me driving to work, wasting petrol to a job that I don't like. But most of us do it anyway. Most of us do it anyway. Petrol, I don't know, is very expensive. So every time you start your engine, you think to yourself, shit, that's $1.50. That's $1.50 right there. Gone into the universe. And then you encounter road rage. Like, honestly, if you had your way, you would not even go to work. If you have the ability to actually work from home, you would not even go to work. And that's fact. And so now you made it to work, and now you got to clock in. Right? So if your workplace has a clock-in system, there's a reason why you clocked in, right? They say it's for safety. They say they want to know who comes in and who comes out. It is for our workers' safety. To me, in a way, they are right. It is about workers' safety. But in the future, they will want to keep records of when you go in and when you come out. Right? They want to control. They want to control the information that is coming in and coming out. So in the future, what will happen is, I'm just speculating because technology has progressed pretty fast, and I see a lot of changes. But if your workplace is introducing clock in and clock out, in the future, what they will do is they'll get rid of payroll. So they'll probably sack the person in payroll, replace payroll with a system where you get paid the moment you clock in and you get paid the moment you clock out. So in a way, you can't control the fact that I can clock in a little bit late and get paid. Right? So let's say you clock in 5 minutes late, but you get paid for, let's say you rock up at 9 o'clock, not like 9:05, right? And so you clock yourself in at 9:05, but you get paid for 9. So basically you're getting that 5 minutes for free, right? In the future, that will not happen. In the future, the workplace will actually control that. And because everything is in the future might be run by computers, it might be run by systems and software and hardware and X in digits. They'll just deduct that 5 minutes from your pay. It's all about control. You're not in control. You're not in control. And now let's talk about your work. And now you're inside your workplace now. Do you really think you're in control of your work? No. I mean, you have performance indicators. You can control how fast you work, right? You can control how fast you work. But if you had it your way, would you even want a like a performance indicator? Do you really want one? Right? I'm not saying that performance indicators are bad, but I'm asking you as the viewers, if you had it your way, right? If you had it your way, if you were in control of the situation, would you have a performance indicator for yourself? I mean, what is better? What is better? You work to your best capabilities, to the best of your abilities, instead of hitting numbers, right? I was in a situation where my employment, let's just say previous employment, I've worked in many places. So if the last place that I worked at think that I'm talking about them, fuck you. I'm not talking about you. You're not that special. So I'm just gonna say my previous employment, but you don't know which one, right? You don't know which one. So at my previous employment, I was actually doing very well. I was hitting my numbers almost every day, and so I came up with an idea to management and asking them, you know what? Why don't we introduce a system where if I hit my numbers, I can go home early. I mean, you set the numbers, we hit it, can we go home? And they blanked out and say, no, you can't. You can't go home. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm contracted to hit these numbers. I hit those numbers. Why don't you just let me go home? He's like, nope, you got to keep going. I'm like, what's the incentive for me to hit my numbers early then? I might as well freaking drag it out like throughout the day. Waste your money, waste your money, waste your time, fuck, waste my time. But they say, no, you have to stay. I'm like, all right then. You want me to stay? No worries. No worries. See, you are not in control of your workload. You are not in control of the narrative. Management controls the narrative. They decide when you go home and when you leave, right? Just because you are being productive doesn't mean that they have any sympathies or they have any concerns about your your grievances. If you have any problems, right, regarding your work, like you try to improve your work, they don't want they don't want a bar of it. All they want is for you to hit your numbers and go home. Even if you go above and beyond, that's what they want and more. You're not in control of your workload. You're not in control at all. So now let's go forward with the fact that you get a 10-minute break. Now this is where control just throws out of the window. Freaking, it's pretty much them telling you have 10 minutes. You have 10 minutes. Have your 10-minute break. Now get the fuck out. There is no control in that. I mean, they give you a time of when to take your break, and you better take it at that time. The reason why they want you to take it at that time is because they want to know where the fuck you are at any certain time. Right? But let's say you're in the middle of something and you have to come to your break late. They'll ask you, why are you taking your break late? I mean, because I was busy doing something else. I was busy filling out an order and it was running late. So I decided to, finish it off before I take my break. Right? I mean, in some places, they actually go crazy for you in this. But the fact that they question you about it is evident enough. All right? If they don't question you about it, and then they see you in the break room, they probably understand, like, look, this person has probably, done extra work, and now he came in late, or he or she came in late, right? But if they question you, it's like, why are you questioning me? Have I done anything wrong? Have I killed anybody? Right? Leave me the fuck alone. It's my 10-minute breaks. Fuck off. Right? It's my 10 minutes. Just fuck off. So you're not even in control of your brakes. You know, freaking. I mean, it's getting to a point where I'm saying all these points and I'm expressing these points, and the more I think about it, the more ridiculous it sounds. The more ridiculous it sounds. It sounds as if we are out of control. We are not in control of anything, and we're just starting work. This is basically 2 or 3 hours into work. You know, we spend our lives, our 24 hours, like 8 hours sleeping, and we spend 16 waking hours. Half of it is at work, and the other half is our time. But it's not even our time, right? But I'll get to that point. I will get to that point. All right. So now you have your 10-minute break. They tell you to get they tell you to go back to work. Go back to work. You don't even have control of how fast you get out. So when they tell you to get out, you get the fuck out. All right. And now you're grinding. Man, it's bad enough that you don't want to be there, and now you gotta grind. You gotta freaking grind for a few hours, and then some of you won't even hit your numbers. You guys, some of you won't even freaking, finish that report that is due. You know, because some schmuck has decided to put the deadline, like a crazy deadline. You finish this within 2 days or something, and you gotta write freaking 5,000 word report. Some crazy nonsense like that. You're not even in control of your goddamn schedule. Some of us. And so now we grind for like a few hours, and now it's time for lunch break. Man, you see a pattern here. You see a pattern. So everybody goes on break. They decide when you go on your break again. There's no freedom there. There's freaking no freedom. There's absolutely no fucking freedom. And so now your lunch is up. And now management comes back in, everybody get back to work. You see the pattern? It's just people yelling at you. It's like, yeah, get back to work. Just get the hell back to work. All right? And now we work through into the last break. And same thing. But at this point, you are probably mentally, emotionally, physically exhausted. At this point, you're probably exhausted. You're freaking so tired that you probably do not even care anymore. Right? You don't even care anymore. And so management comes back in and tell you to go back to work. Just go back to work. And now our shift is over. You've done your 8 hours, the shift is over, and I think to yourself, freedom, right? Freedom. But it's not actually freedom. It's not actually freedom. And I'll explain that later. And so you get into your transport. Like you go into your transportation, the bus, the train, the car, and now you're driving your ass home. Right? And now you hit some traffic, you hit some road rage. People are swearing at you. You're not even in control of the fact that they're fucking swearing at you. You're just copying it. Like, oh, fuck it, just let it happen. You just don't care anymore. You can't control the fact that people are sitting next to you, even though you don't want them to sit next to you. They stink. Blah 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 blah. So now you get home and you think to yourself, "Yep, I am free, man. I am free as hell. Now I can do whatever the hell I want." No, no, you're not free at all, mate. You're not free at all. Fucking the only freedom that you're gonna get is probably like that shower you're gonna take, right? So yeah. So now you proceed to make dinner. Now you make dinner. Everybody makes dinner. Everybody's got to eat, right? So maybe you have some control there, right? You have some control of the fact that you have to eat dinner, right? But here's the thing. If you're truly free, you can have dinner whenever you want, right? You can have it whenever you want. But not if you're working for like working for somebody, because you have to make your dinner at a certain time so that you have a certain amount of time where you can rest and do the things that you have to do after dinner so that you can sleep, you see, right? So everything, your entire life, not your entire life, actually, yes, from the moment you wake up to the very end, it's being dictated by work. It's all revolves around work. Work is your universe. I'll explain that later. Okay, so after dinner, we are preparing lunch for the next day. For the fucking next day. Freaking, it's bad enough you gotta make dinner, and now you gotta make lunch too. And some of us, love life hacks. So what we do is we make enough dinner, and we take that dinner to lunch the next day. And then we just throw it into the microwave and just reheat it, right? So after we finish doing all this, and mind you, you're tired as hell. You're battered from work. Mentally you're shot. Your nerves are shot. Physically you're shot. You're tired as hell, and now you think, yep, now I have freedom. Now I had freedom. Now I have freedom. Before, when I walked into the house, I thought I had freedom, but now it's fucking freedom right here, right now. And then you're just lying down on your couch, or you like on your bed, open up your laptop, and you realize, shit, I gotta sleep in 2 hours. I'm gonna sleep in 2 hours. Why? Because I've got to go to work. I've got to go to work, right? So you do what you got to do. You eat. You answer your freaking emails. You answer your freaking emails. You give your spouse a call, or wait, the spouse lives in your house. Yes, well, not spouse. Let's say your girlfriend, boyfriend, partner, parents, mom, dad. You do what you got to do. Talk blah 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 blah. To kill some time, to relax, and now you go to bed. And now you sleep, right? Yep. I'm so tired. I've been productive today. I'm just gonna go to bed. And you gotta do this shit all over again. All over again. You gotta do it all over again. For the next 5 days. 6 days if you work on Saturdays. Shit. So yeah. That is the life of a normal person. This is normal. This is not extraordinary. This is a normal person. This is a normal person. That's work for you. And we're all cogs. We're all cogs. We come to work, and we become a part of a system. And this system it has no emotion. It doesn't give a fuck about you. It doesn't care. It doesn't care about truth. The fact that you're a cog and replaceable, right? If you don't do these things right here, if you don't do this list, the things that I've just listed out, if you don't do this, somebody else will, right? Somebody else will. And that's the main crux of what it means to be a cog in a machine. The fact that if you don't do this here, this list right here, it's not perfect, right? It's not perfect, but it's not wrong either. If I show this list to anybody, in any profession, they will probably agree with what I'm saying. And the reason why they agree, because they know it's true. If I give this list to anybody at all, and I ask them, all right, I went through the entire list with you, and you think, and it's true. Is it making you happy? I mean, some will say that they're happy. Good on them. Good on them. They are telling the truth, right? But the ones that are telling me they are not happy, and I ask them, all right, if you're not happy with the situation, why are you still there? And then they say, I don't have a choice. I'm like, what do you mean you don't have a choice? Don't you think this is a crappy way of living? It's like, yeah, but if I don't do this, I can't get to work, and they're gonna tell me off, and I'm gonna lose my job, and someone's gonna replace me anyway. Someone's got to do the job, right? And then I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, Jesus Christ, this is a big problem. This is a huge problem. I mean, it's the fact that you are replaceable. You do all this, and at the end of the day, some people know it deep down in their hearts that they are replaceable, extremely replaceable. And from the very low to the very top, everyone is replaceable. We are all cogs in a much bigger machine, right? We are all cogs in a much bigger machine, and the story behind those cogs are these points right here. If we don't do this, somebody else will, right? Now, this right here is generalized. Some might be to the absolute extremes. Some might be a lot better than this, right? So in a way, it's so it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking knowing the fact that um we are cogs in a machine, and no one told us this when we were growing up. I mean, they told us the the glitter and the and the shiny bits, of working, of doing the things that quote unquote you love. You should do what you love, but no one ever told me what I loved, you know. And as I was growing up, I realized that what I wanted to do was was something that I didn't want to do at all. I mean, sure, when I said I want to be a doctor or an engineer or a rocket scientist when I grew up, but as I grew older, I realized that it was beyond my grasp, and it was not gonna work out for me. It might have worked out for other people if they worked hard enough, But I mean, I know some doctors who who are not even, their heart is not in it anymore. You know, when 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 my father was sick and we sent him to the emergency room, the doctors there were checking his pulse. They were just checking his vitals, checking, asking him if he's okay. And all these doctors there, you can tell they're doctors in training. You can see the enthusiasm in their eyes, and you knew they were trying to do like a good they were trying to make a good impression. They're being trained as doctors, for God's sake, so they had to follow the right procedures, But man, as you get older, I reckon they throw those procedures out the window, man, because some of the doctors that I know, the old ones, they just don't care anymore. I think in a way they realized that they were just cogs too. They were just cogs in a much bigger machine. But I digress. So are there any solutions to this? Honestly, not really. Even if you realize that you're a cog in a machine, and then you leave this organization and then you go to another, you're just another cog moving to another machine. So in a way, you can't really run away from it. I think the only thing you can do is to realize it, and once you realize it, now you're aware. It's all about awareness. If you are aware that you're a cog, now you can make a plan on how to minimize your effect as a cog. So if you're a big cog in a big organization, and they pile responsibilities on you, and you don't like it, I think it's time to actually remove yourself from that position and find and reconnect with yourself, and to find out what really makes you tick, right? And find things that make you feel, fulfilled in life. Happiness, happiness is a byproduct of what you're doing. Happiness comes from doing the things that make you fulfilled in life. So, I mean, if you think that you're a cog in a machine and you don't want to be a cog anymore, just quit. Just quit. We all have our excuses. We all can say, oh man, I can't quit. If I quit, who's gonna bring in the money? How am I supposed to pay my bills? I have a mortgage and I have too many responsibilities. Well, look, we all got responsibilities. You choose the right time when to leave, right? You have the choice to leave. Freedom is hard. True freedom is having full control of your life. That is what true freedom is. So with freedom, you need to take responsibility for it. Like, sure, you might not be able to pay your bills, but find a way. You find a way. I'm starting my journey of actually trying to reduce the size of my cog in a way, because I'm pretty plugged into the system. I mean, my cog is probably medium size. Well, actually small size cog. But I would love to make it smaller. I would love to reduce my cogness in a way. I would love to start doing the things that I want to do. So, to me, this is the first step of heading in that direction. I want to start a podcast, and that's what I'm doing. And I chose this subject because um, it came from realization. It actually, I've been sleeping on this for a while now, and it's been on my mind for a very long time. So I decided to pick this first subject and just talk about it. Um, Honestly, I apologize if it seems like I'm ranting and I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, because it's coming from the top of my head. I mean, I did write notes, but I pretty much threw those notes out of the window. And so, but as I progress with my podcast career, if you can say that, I'm just beginning to to learn how to use the software, learn how to speak, learn how to edit. And so for me, I'm starting a new journey. It is a new journey for me, and yeah, if you like what I'm spitting out, in a way, I'm spitting out. Like, if you like what I'm doing, please let me know in the comment box, and yeah, support me. And if you guys have any subjects that you want to discuss, just shoot me an email. Shoot me like a message in the message box, or in the comment box, and I'll see what I can do. So until next time, I wish you luck in life, and I'll see you next time.